Welcome to Compass Points, the weekly podcast for CompassKnox.com. CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more.
Welcome to Compass Points, a podcast about Knoxville and Knox County government, politics, business, education, the arts, anything else that just kind of grabs our attention. I'm Scott Barker, the editor of Compass, which is a subscription-based website and newsletter where we report on all of these topics and more. You can find us and subscribe at CompassKnox.com. We had a technical glitch earlier today. Usually we are recording this in the opulent studios of Barbarian Productions in Rocky Hill. But this week we're having to do it remotely. And Lord Seth Barber, the producer extraordinaire, is going to be handling that end of things and making sure that you can hear what we say. So, Seth, thanks. We've got another. This is, I guess, would be a 2.5 day late.
It's raining. It's raining again.
Weather report. Okay.
I feel like it's May again. We're going to just get poured on for the next forever.
That's true. And in May was the third wettest in history, or at least in the history of record keeping, according to TVA. Had the average rainfall across the Tennessee Valley was 8.1 inches. That's usually 4.31. And it came close to the overall record, which was set in 2003, and that was 9.15 inches. And anyway, it's been very, very wet. Then we had a few warm days, and then it's Friday night now, and it is raining in Knoxville. So,
well, yeah. So and it's got. I don't know if it's going to rain all weekend or not, but I'm just accepting the fact that we're back in the rainy season again.
Yes, back in the rainy season. Well, okay. Well, we had a few things that went on last week that we'll be looking into. One was a shakeup in the local media ownership landscape with Inside of Knoxville, which changed hands this week. We had we're going to talk about housing. We've got several topics. One is the East Tennessee Realtors have identified one of the problems with our housing shortage is a housing mismatch between what people are looking to buy and what is actually out there for sale. Also, Home Federal Bank is getting into the affordable housing sector, not in a profit-making way, but in a donation way. So they're donating to affordable housing in the Knoxville area. And also, there was some big news from Transforming Western, which is a massive project to reimagine the Western Heights public housing area and its public housing community and its surrounding neighborhood in Beaumont. We also talk about the school system strategic plan, the zoning ordinance that the county is working toward and kind of their time crunch. But we will start out with the sales tax proposal that the city of Knoxville has put forward. Mayor India Kincannon. We talked about this last week when after she proposed it. looking at it again this week because one of the things that's kind of unusual about this is that in my experience covering local governments, generally speaking, there needs to be kind of a pending crisis, maybe not necessarily crisis, but there has to be some kind of immediate need to raise taxes. For instance, just a couple of years ago, the city raised its property tax. That was to do the short-term, meet a short-term goal of increasing police and firefighter pay, putting them into salary steps, and kind of the whole framework of how police officers and firefighters get paid. That was a little bit short term, a little bit long term, but that was done because one of the things was we had the Kincannon administration says basically we have to do this now and get it done, and so they did. This was a sales tax proposal. I mean, the city had spent several months talking about how hunky dory everything was in the as far as the city's finances were. Economic growth had slowed a little bit, but it was still trending in a positive direction. The mayor's $477.3 million budget had employee raises in it, had a $25 million lump sum payment on the convention center debt, had money for the complete renovation of the Tennessee Amphitheater and World's Fair Park, and all of that without a property tax increase, and assurances that the city had ample reserves. Well, a month later, Kincannon's out there saying, hey, I'm going to propose a sales tax increase. And so, it kind of raised the question of, what's the urgency here? What's why are you wanting to do this now? And the increase is for 0.5% on the local option sales tax, which is the max. It will get the sales tax to the maximum allowed by the state. We have ever since the 1980s, when the last property tax increase was passed in the city has been 0.5% below the maximum. They've been leaving that money on the table. The county has been as well, and but Kincannon wants to raise that to kind of address these long-term infrastructure and housing needs, and really look at it long-term. That's the key there. The administration is saying that we're fine in the short term, but this is for the long term. This is the mayor has said has put the figure on it as $70 million in projects that they haven't been able to fund, that they need to fund, and because we just don't have, the city doesn't have the money in the short term to do that. The sales tax increase would raise about $47 million a year, and it would go toward various items, such as affordable housing. It would go toward parks, go toward paving, could be greenways, sidewalks, traffic calming, facilities and maintenance. All of these things that the city already, does invest money in all of those areas, but this would accelerate that quite a bit if it is passed. And like I said, you still, kind of question, well, is really urgent? The city says yes, it's urgent to go ahead and get this. The uncertainty surrounding federal funding has kind of plays a little bit of a role in here. City officials say that they were kind of kicking around this idea before President Trump was elected in November, and that the federal budget cuts that are likely to really affect these cities' budget weren't coming through then, but this would enable the city to be nimble about this. I mean, for example, this proposal would set aside an additional, bear in mind, this is an additional $10 million for affordable housing. Well, the big, beautiful bill going through Congress at the moment that's being debated in or passed the House its fate's in the Senate's hands now, would eliminate a couple of HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development programs that provide affordable housing funding for the city of Knoxville to the tune of about $2.75 million. So this would address that. The administration, like I said, they maintain that that's not exactly what they're doing, but hey, it's a benefit if these funds do get taken away, and there are other funds too. I mean, there's a Connecting Communities grant that would pay for all kinds of green. It's the largest grant that the city of Knoxville has ever received, over $40 million from the federal government, and it would go toward a lot of it would go toward greenways connecting East Knoxville to other parts of the city, trying to make these connections again, as a because they were severed because of urban renewal and the construction of James White Parkway. Those fundings are now imperiled by the Trump administration and the Republican majority in Congress. Those would be things that would have to be paid for if they build them with local dollars, and that's the kind of thing that this would do. One of the interesting, the process here is that sales taxes have to be approved by voters, unlike property taxes, which city council could just raise if they wanted to. Sales tax increases have to be approved by voters. The Kincannon administration has asked city council to put this on the ballot in the November election. First reading of that ordinance, and it takes 2 readings before it can go on the ballot, is set to take place on Tuesday. And so city council will be voting on it, and if they approve it on 2 readings, then it will go before the voters in November. It's one of the few opportunities that just regular citizens have a say in whether they get taxed or not, and at what level they get taxed. And it doesn't happen very often. The last time the city did it was 1988, and it passed. So the county did something similar, not with the sales tax. They did it with the wheel tax back at the just after the turn of the century here, when I believe Mike Ragsdale was the county executive or / mayor at the time. But this is something that the citizens get to vote for. They are the ones to make the determination. If city council does determine that it go forward, then it'll be up to the regular voters, and the first indication of that will come on Tuesday. So and we'll be there to cover that. The one other kind of big picture thing that happened in local government was the county zoning ordinance, which is an outgrowth of Advanced Knox, long-term planning effort. Advanced Knox has produced a comprehensive land use plan, which basically sets out the parameters for growth and development in Knox County outside the Knoxville city limits. And the zoning ordinance change, it's also, they like to call it by its bureaucratic name of Unified Development Ordinance. But what all that is they're going to be setting the zoning, the actual, what is allowed in certain zones, the density levels, the land uses, and all of those things, very much detailed. And they've got less than a year to do it. Originally, it was going to be a 24-month process. They hired a consultant to lead that. Then, unfortunately, the consultant didn't work out. The county fired them and hired another firm, Orion Planning and Design, and Orion just started in May, and the county has a deadline to have this all wrapped up and approved by government bodies in August at the latest of 2026. So, which coincides with the election, which means that's when Mayor Jacobs will be leaving office, and several county commissioners will be leaving office, term limits, and they want to get it done then. I talked to Jim Snowden from Knox County Engineering and Public Works about this. It's will you be able to get this finished? What's the deal there? There are a couple of things. The short answer is yes, he thinks so. The original contractor did do some work. They're about 15%. They did about 50% of the work in the few months that they were there, and Orion is taking over and integrating what they did with what Orion wants to do and how they're going to do things and move forward. So there was some work that had already been done. Snowden he insists that the time frame or that the consultant and the county and the Knox County Planning will be able to get everything done, and the technical part of it will have to go before the public. There'll be there should be lots of public input, lots of public meetings, and completed at the end of May 2026. That's a year from now, because it takes 3 months to get approval from first the Planning Commission, and second, 2 readings, and one each month, by the Knox County Commission. So the last 3 months are basically, that's politics. They have exactly 12 months to get this done. And so that includes all of the technical work, all of the public engagement, and those who of our listeners who remember going through the Recode Knoxville process, which was essentially the same thing that the city did instead of the county, know that it's a bear of a process, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people start getting involved, and this is a phenomenon that is common in all levels of government. There will be people a year from now who will suddenly realize they're doing this and say, "Oh, you're ramming this down our throats." Well, it's been a year. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, that's kind of a standard thing. They're going to have to deal with that. But Snowden is, like I said, confident that they're going to be able to get it done in time. They've got extra people that on the county side and at the planning commission side that are going to be engaged on this. More people are being pulled from those bodies to help work with this than was originally envisioned, so that they can help get these things done. And so we're not going to be. This is one of those things that we wrote about this. I just kind of said, okay, this is they've gotten started. This is where they're going. We're probably not going to hear much about it until the end of August, because they're still doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes right now. But the public won't really see any tangible results from this until August at the earliest, and that will just be a very rough draft form of what this is going to do. And this is one of those projects that really a lot of people, their eyes glaze over when they hear the word zoning and all of this, but this affects every property owner in Knox County outside of the Knoxville city limits and the town of Farragut limits, and the and the zoning. What is and even if you don't sell or develop your property adjacent to you or down the road from you, it determines what is going to be allowed in those properties. So how much density, if it's going to be, they're going to allow up to 2 dwelling units per acre, or 5 or 20 or 25. All those kinds of detailed things will be going into this ordinance, and people will wish they participated more than they will participate. But if you're listening to this and you own property in Knox County, and or you're going to be buying property in Knox County, this is a process you should be paying careful attention to. Another item that some people should pay attention to is the Knox County School Strategic Plan. The school system, the Board of Education, adopted the strategic plan last week. This is a roadmap. The theme is every student future ready. Nice bureaucratic kind of slogan there. The county has divided, or the school system, has divided their the report into 5 key goals. One is excellence in foundational skills, your basic reading, writing, and arithmetic. Great educators in every school, which means, paying teachers and getting the best teachers they can get. There's career empowerment and preparation, which is kind of the the whole goal of these 865 academies that the school system has established, which is trying to make sure that graduates are ready to either go into the workforce, go into the military, or go on to higher education. That kind of goes hand in glove with the other another goal, which is success for every student. And then they also want to improve their community engagement and communications through the year. One of the kind of issues that has popped up, although it wasn't something that came close to derailing this, is that in past strategic plans, the school system had made a priority of addressing disparities in student outcomes for students who are minorities and students who came from low income families. And this strategic plan, which is a 5-year plan, goes from now till 2030, doesn't really mention those. John Butler, who's the Reverend John Butler, is on the school board representing East Knoxville primarily. Said he doesn't like it that they dropped disparities, but the school system has assured them that that disparities among these groups, racial and ethnic minorities, low income individuals, those are low income family individuals from low income families, will be addressed. There will be supports for them. It will be in the in all of the reports that the school system produces in these areas. It just won't be emphasized as much, I guess is the best way to put it, is that they're going to be trying to improve the outcomes for all students. And hey, if it happens to help Black students, then great. If it happens to help low-income students, great. But there's not going to be an emphasis on reporting those outcomes, though they'll be in there. They'll just have to look for them a little bit. So anyway, the school system passed that. It wasn't very controversial. Not really a very long debate even among the school board members. So that moves on, and with that, the summer schedule is on. There won't be a whole lot from the school board for another month or so, but we'll next move on to some of our housing issues. One is the groundbreaking last week of the second phase of Transforming Western, and that is the multi-million-dollar project to transform the Western Heights housing community, public housing community in North Knoxville. The first phase, which is underway and should be completed later this year, will provide 76 rental units. Some of them are replacement units. Some of them are new units. But there will be that. Phase 2, which is the groundbreaking that they had last week, will have another 52 residential units. But basically, there'll be 2 mixed income residential buildings in here. So by mixed income, some of those people are going to be the people live there will be low income people, and some of them won't be. And so kind of a mix of incomes there. And the 15 of the units will be market rates. So there's that, but there's also some things that are amenities that they're putting into the Transforming Western initiative to try to transform the whole neighborhood, not just the Western Heights housing development, but the broader Beaumont neighborhood. Part of that is an arts center that will go into one of those mixed use buildings. Then the University of Tennessee Medical Center is going to open a clinic there to bring much needed health care to a low income area, and also the Knoxville Police Department is going to have a kind of satellite office there as well. This is a major undertaking. KCDC, the city's housing and redevelopment arm, is using a $40 million grant from HUD. That was a grant that came through before all these cuts came to HUD. The city of Knoxville is also investing more than $26 million in infrastructure upgrades in and around Western Heights. So there's a lot more that needs to be done at Western Heights, a lot more in the plan. There's more funding that needs to be secured, but they're moving on to the second phase of it when if they're able to finish everything up, and they hope to be able to do that in 2029, all of the phases of the project, they'll have, they anticipate having 479 housing units in this community, which will continue to make it the largest in the Knoxville area. But most of the units they'll either be new or renovated, and it'll be what Ben Bentley, the CEO of KCDC, has said is, it really is something they hope is transformative and really changes the lives of the people that live in these communities. So, that is something that, I mentioned. It's going to be construction there is going to go on through 2029. So it's going to be some time before we can report that it's complete. But it is something. It is an ongoing project that bears scrutiny as it moves forward. Another housing initiative is one initiated by Home Federal Bank, one of the oldest banks in East Tennessee. They are going to make a $200,000 donation to local nonprofits for affordable housing solutions that they might have. This is a kind of unusual. Our banks are involved in affordable housing. Typically, they're just kind of behind the scenes doing what banks normally do, and that's either they loan money to projects or they don't loan money to projects. This one is they're making these donations, and these will go toward bridge funding, and that's where the rubber hits the road when it comes to affordable housing. One of the things that people don't realize is you can't just build an apartment building, and then just rent it out with low rents. Doesn't work that way. You're going to lose your shirt. Banks won't loan you money on a project like that. Just not going to work, because the labor, the materials, and the land all cost the same, regardless of whether you're building it, your affordable housing, market rate, or luxury housing. It's all pretty much the same as far as the basic costs. So what has to happen is that developers who want to build affordable housing and make them affordable to people to rent is they need what's called bridge financing, other means of financing a portion of this so they can reduce the amount that they borrow from banks, and they reduce their ongoing overhead of paying debt service and that sort of thing so that they can charge lower rents. It's very complex, very difficult, and Home Federal Bank has stepped up to help work with that. They're going to their funding's going to go to a variety of organizations, Knox Area Rescue Ministries, KCDC, Habitat for Humanity, the McNabb Foundation, Neighborhood Housing Inc., Restoration House, all these entities that are in the affordable housing space. So this is kind of interesting that we've got a corporate bank doing this. Last year we had some of the city's major philanthropists, like Randy Boyd and others who donated their money to go to city programs. This doesn't go to the city program, but it does go to that slice of the housing market that people have made known that they want the city to absolutely address the affordability of housing. One key aspect of affordability in housing is it kind of goes back to the reason for the housing crisis that we've been going through here is that supply and demand are out of whack. There's a huge demand. More and more people are moving here. There's not a big supply of housing. And the East Tennessee Realtors actually went through and identified a specific subset of that. And they were reporting, last month that there's a mismatch between the types of houses that buyers need or want to buy and the types of houses that are actually on the market. You can want a 15-bedroom house, but if there's not a 15-bedroom house on the market, you can't get it. Although if you're in that bracket, you certainly can. But of the 6,800 or so listings, real estate listings last month, only 17% fell within the price range that a family earning the median income in the Knoxville area can afford. There's an oversupply of these large single-family houses, McMansions, if you will, but these large 4, 5, 6-bedroom houses with twice as that number of bathrooms and all kinds of stuff. Those they're way oversupplied with those. But if you want a smaller home, if you're you're getting older and you want to downsize and you want a 2,000 square foot house and spend $275,000 on it. Well, you can only 12% of the houses that are listed for sale meet those criteria.
So let me ask a question on this, Scott. Is that then the assertion is that it's out-of-state people with the same budget bracket, or is that it's local people trying to move within either East Tennessee or even just within Knox County trying to move?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you want a smaller house, you just there just aren't that many listings, and if you want even 3-bedroom houses, only 9% of the available listings can fit that in a median income budget. And one of one of the things there is, it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the money, and if you want a smaller house or anything other than a huge house, you can't find it. They just don't exist. The realtors found that half of the potential buyers, people who are out looking for houses, half of them are competing with each other for less than 1/5 of the available houses, because they can't even bid on the bigger ones. Now, obviously, people who are moving here from, say, California or Michigan or places where property values are much, much higher, they can probably just go to those bigger mansion houses and buy them. That's something that's been happening here for years. That's what happened when Whittle Communications opened up here. People moved here from New York and Chicago and LA and bought the most. They moved from modest homes in those cities to the largest mansions in Sequoia Hills in Knoxville. That does happen, but if you are not in that bracket, if you are someone who is in the median income range, which is about $67,000 a year that's the median income for the Knoxville metropolitan area. If your household is in that $67,000 range, there just aren't very many houses for you, and that's nothing that's going to change quickly. Although the realtors do, they have made the point that builders are doing their best to try to provide housing in those ranges, and some of them are quite creative. There was recently a development that Clayton Homes helped, was a partner in, and they didn't do what we think of as mobile homes that Clayton does, but they were modular homes built in factory and put together on site, and they are much more affordable than building on site. And so there are efforts to try to close that gap, but it's a big gap. And it's unfortunate. It's one of those things that all the housing crisis is so strange, I think, compared to a lot of other times where there have been housing issues, in that it hits at all price points, all across the economic spectrum, from people who need affordable apartments to people who need larger homes. Really only the very wealthiest can kind of sidestep some of the issues that you have to deal with in the in the housing crisis right now. So, but like I said, the realtors say that builders are trying to take care of those gaps, and but it takes a while. I mean, it takes months to build a house, so it's going to be months, years before we actually dig ourselves out of this housing situation. So next, we'll move on to something else. The media landscape has changed in Knoxville, and the big change there is Alan Sims, who may or may not be a household name to many of you, but for the past 15 years, he has been the person who's chronicled downtown's redevelopment and the explosive growth there, riding under the nom de guerre of Knoxville Urban Guy at the Inside of Knoxville website. Alan has been a fixture downtown for the last decade and a half, going to events, taking photos, interviewing people, being a man about town in the downtown area. But he has made an announcement. He had his 15th anniversary celebration last Sunday, and he took that opportunity to announce that he was selling Inside of Knoxville and retiring so he can travel. And he and his wife can hit the open road, travel, enjoy themselves, and he wouldn't have to worry about posting things on the website and all that good stuff. He sold it to Leslie Wiley Bateman, who is a former editor of Metropulse and has been in various roles in journalism and public relations in this area for years. She's been writing for Alan for the last few months, and when it came time for Alan to sell, he sold it to her. And good luck to her, to Leslie. Leslie's actually written for us as well at Compass. Probably won't do that anymore, but because there is some kind of remnant of competition between news organizations. But that was one thing that Alan, in his 15 years at Inside of Knoxville, kind of chipped away at. Alan didn't look at us or the News Sentinel or any other news outlet as competitors. He looked at all of us as colleagues in journalism, and very much was a collaborative person. He shared information. I mean, obviously he broke a lot of stories, but he focused on downtown to the exclusion of almost everything else. It's very much a hyper local thing. So, and he got the trust of people downtown. So if there was a developer who did downtown work, they would go to him first before they would talk to anybody else about their plans. Businesses would talk to him about expanding or closing or moving or, just all kinds of things. So he has been a stellar journalist in downtown Knoxville, but he was, like I said, he's also a collaborator. I mean, he would share photos with us. He's a good photographer, and you'd see him running around town. He had his beret on and his hair in a ponytail, and had his camera out all the time, running around taking pictures, and he would share his photos with us, which was always good because, quite frankly, we stink at taking photos, and the any help we can get is much appreciated. We kind of do it because it's expected of us. We're print folk first and foremost. So, but Alan was always kind and generous to a fault. Generous with his time, with his expertise, with his work product, everything else. So Alan is moving on. We hate to see him leave, but we understand. I'll tell you, there are almost at the end of every week, I'm exhausted from the work of the week, and I'm going, man, I wish I could retire like Alan did. But Alan's moving on. He will still be around town, still going to live downtown, still going to be downtown, but he will be going out of town from time to time with his wife, Karen, and their kids and grandkids and all that good stuff. Meanwhile, Leslie Bateman, as I said, is going to be taking the helm of the inside of Knoxville, and she is acutely aware of the legacy that Alan has left. And while she has her own ideas, she understands what is expected of inside of Knoxville. Well, that was everything that we're going to talk about that happened last week. It wasn't everything that happened last week. There were plenty of other things that happened, and we reported on them, on some of them anyway. And those are things that are available, are either on the website or through the email that you can get by being a subscriber. And you can go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe, and or just check out kind of the work that we do. And if it is something you think is valuable, we think it's valuable. If you think it's valuable, go ahead and subscribe there. Okay, well, next week, or actually this week, I shouldn't say next week, it's this week. We've got several things going on Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning, bright and early for folks. There is going to be a hearing by the Knox County Election Commission to determine whether 4th District City Council candidate Jeff Tallman meets the residency requirements to run for his office. He is we mentioned this, I think, last week. Tallman has lived in the 4th and Guild neighborhood in the 4th District since the 1980s. But in the last couple of years, while he's been getting ready to build a new home from the ground up in 4th and Gill, he has been living temporarily with his wife at a home she owns in Dandridge. Well, the city charter requires that city council candidates live in the district they want to represent for 1 year prior to the election. Well, and there is no exception. They don't make any exceptions in the city charter about this. So, and Tallman freely admits he's not been living there. He's been living in Dandridge. So on the face of it, that should tell you that he is not qualified to run and would not be put on the ballot. However, there's state law too, and state law is much more forgiving for temporary absences. One section of state law basically says, hey, you can be absent temporarily as long as you intend to come back and you take steps to make sure that it looks like you're coming back. And Tallman's done that. He's got, he's getting building permits for the new structure. It's actually going to be a duplex for him and his wife on one side and her mother on the other side. But that is, he's taking steps to do that. He is, definitely, has said, he intends to come back. He's making those steps. So that would, and state law doesn't put a time limit on it. You can, it can be longer than a year that you can be temporarily away from your residence and still have residency technically under the law. So, but we don't know exactly how that applies to the city, because the city does have its own charter. A lot of times, the general rule of thumb is state law trumps local law, but there are places where local law is the guiding force because of various legal reasons that if I'd gone to law school, I could explain better. But so we will see. They're going to have this hearing in the main assembly room of the City County building at 8:30 Tuesday morning, and once that is over, and the election commission makes their decision about whether he is a viable candidate or not, then there will be a regular meeting of the election commission, and the main there are several things that they're going to be doing. They will tell you that all of it is important and all of it is, but kind of the one that's the most interesting will be they will actually set the ballot for the city primary that's going to be held in August. There are 18 candidates, 17 if Tallman doesn't get through, and so but they will formally recognize the ballot at that point. Then also on Tuesday night, City Council's going to be meeting. Mentioned earlier the sales tax referendum vote. That will be the primary item of interest on the agenda. That's on first reading. If it passes on first reading, they'll do second reading, obviously, and then if it passes there, it goes on to the ballot. If city council members reject it Tuesday, then that's the end of it. We don't have to talk about sales tax again for a while. So, and then also this week on Thursday, the Knox County Planning Commission will meet. They do all of those fun zoning and land use issues. Lots of them are going to be going on there. I think one of the issues that's been a big deal is the transfer of the loss of agricultural land to rezoning to other forms. Plenty of examples of that coming up on Thursday of this week. Their meeting is at 1:30 in the main assembly room of the City County building. So that is everything for this week. You're kind of caught up on most of the important stuff that happened last week, and we hope that you will follow Compass and in the coming week and get your news there, and then check in with us at the here on the podcast to go back over what had happened the week before. So we'll do all of this again next week. I want to say thanks once again to Lord Seth Barber, our engineer. Thank you, Seth. And also to Will Wright, who provides our music. We will be diligent searching out the news for you next week, and we'll talk to you then.
CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more. And many thanks to William Wright for composing our theme song. Compass Points is a partnership of Barking Shark Media and Barbarian Productions, and recorded by Lord Seth A. Barber at Barbarian Studios, Knoxville, Tennessee.